I get it. You've done all the things. You've taken the sales courses, you've built a beautiful website, you've got everything set up to attract and serve your ideal client, but it's not selling, right? You're a coach, you're a consultant, you're an expert, you're a professional service provider, and your heart is in the right place. Yet every time you go out and you speak or you meet with someone, you have this experience like you can't exactly get what you do over the line in a way that it lands for them and leaves them hungry for more. In fact, in many cases, you just have this feeling like people love you. Why aren't they buying from you? My name is Lisa Sasevich. I've been teaching people how to sell their services for over 15 years and have done $50 million of sales myself at home while raising 2 toddlers. And there's 5 things I see, mistakes that people are making that are super easy to fix. And if you do, you will see an immediate transformation with your sales. You see, it's not that you have a sales problem. It's actually an offer problem. I'm gonna walk you through the 5 invisible roadblocks that are keeping you from the level of service, the impact, and the abundance that you may be ready for now. The first thing might be the name of your offer. So whether it's a coaching package, maybe it's a med spa package, maybe you help people with professional services, you're a lawyer, you're a doctor, you're an expert of some sort. You've named your packages something that you love, it's important and hooky to you, but it's not really speaking in the language of your ideal client. I'll give you a great example from my own campus. One of our best-selling courses is called Nail Your Offer. So when I tell people that I have a course called Nail Your Offer, they don't have to ask me what that's about. They're pretty much like, I need that. And that's what you want. You want outcome-laden words, and you also want words that are the same words that your ideal client would use if they were talking to a friend. Another example from my own campus, we have a very, very well-known course. It's 15,000 students all over the world have enjoyed the course called Speak to Sell Bootcamp. So who's that for? It's for people that want to speak and sell. So whether they want to sell to a qualified appointment or they want to sell their package directly, people who use speaking as a way to get business recognize that this is something they need. So number 1, check the title, check the way that you're describing what you do. And my biggest tip is to use what I call pillow talk. So, if someone would roll over sleepy in the morning and they wouldn't say, for example, I need to reduce my mortgage rate and get a better APR, whatever we would say in marketing speak, they would say, honey, we need to find a way to save the house. And so you would want to have a save the house package so that it spoke right to the people who need you. So that's the first thing, check that, and let's go on to number 2. The second, and one of the biggest mistakes I see people making when they're offering their own services, is that we tend to focus more on the delivery of what we're going to offer than the outcome or transformation that the client is going to experience. I'll give you an example. So in many cases, we are going to be meeting with someone, let's say you're a coach or an expert or you provide a service that's multiple sessions. What happens is when we start getting into the sales side of the conversation, we'll say, there's gonna be 10 sessions and there's 60 minutes each. And before each session, I'm going to give you an audio to listen to and a couple of worksheets. And so we start stacking on a lot of deliverables, thinking that that is going to help justify the value of our offer. Instead, what I want you to try is really to take all that energy and focus your words or your copy, if this is in writing, on the outcome or the transformation that you provide. So instead of describing how many sessions and the worksheets and the audios and all the things, instead, let's talk about how, I'll give you again my own example. In my Monetize Your Mission mentorship, we are going to be looking every week at what you have coming up so that you can see how to make sure that you're reverse engineering that to lead to your offer. It's designed to help you enjoy $3,000 to $30,000 of sales boost every month. And you get, my private coaching twice a month to do that. So if you look at the example I just gave you, in that example, I talked about the outcome or the transformation 80% of the time, and then 10 or 20% of the time, how I was gonna deliver it. I mentioned that it was 2 Zoom calls a month, right? 2 coaching calls a month. Instead of the reverse, I'll give you an example of what it might sound like if we're not paying attention to this. Please come and join me in my Monetize Your Mission mentorship. It's really amazing. We have 2 90-minute calls on the first and third Thursday of every month, Pacific time, noon. There's great people on the call, really experienced. You get a tool each month, a good sales tool, and I would say you'd have about 25 minutes of audio to listen to and 1 or 2 worksheets to go along with the tool. So that would be 80% of really talking about the delivery. And then I might 20% say, I think it would really help you grow your business. You're perfect for it. And really other people that are in it are seeing increases of $3,000 to $30,000 a month just from their first few calls. So that's my recommendation, is switch the ratio of how much you focus on the delivery of what you do versus how much you focus on the transformation of what you do. Most people, without paying attention to this, are doing 80% talking about the delivery and 20% talking about the transformation. What I want you to try is the next time you're in the face of your ideal client, be it one-on-one or on video or even in writing, is to put 80% of your energy, your words, onto the outcome or transformation that the client will get, and 20% about how you're going to deliver it. Okay, the third reason your offer is likely not selling, and this is a big one, is because you're not making your offer. Now, hear me out. So many of us have bought into this idea that we need to nurture clients for a long time, whether it's taking them out to 5 lunches and getting to know them, or if you're working digitally, sending them lots of content and lots of email. Maybe you're just spending tons of time posting on social and providing value. All of that is good, no criticism there, and I really commend your efforts. It's just that sometimes we get into nurturing too long, either because we're a little uncomfortable or afraid to make our offer, or something we were told and we bought it. Here's the problem with that. When someone finds you and is paying attention, it's because they need what you have. If you're in the relationship space helping people there, maybe they've got some problems and challenges. And sure, it's great to give them some content that they can immediately apply to see that you've got the chops to help them. But if you wait too long, you nurture too long before giving them an invitation to speak with you, to enroll for a coaching, a digital course, a seminar, a workshop, an event, whatever it is that you do, how you deliver your work, to come in for a session. If you wait too long, what happens is that your content is really educating the world, but someone else who's making their offer and using what I call the nail your offer tips that I'm presenting here, they're getting the business. And this is really heartbreaking because we see a lot of you that are 20, 30-year experts in your field. You've forgotten more than the new guy knows, right? But he's getting the business or she's getting the business. You've had your real estate license 20 years, they've been on the scene 6 months, you're educating the world and they're making their offer. So you've got to find that balance. And I think in most cases these days, we're waiting too long to invite someone to engage with us at where we can actually lay out an offer that would be truly irresistible to them. And we'll get into how to make offers truly irresistible in a future video. Okay, number 4, you're making your offer, it's the right person and you've got the right thing, but you're not adding any juicy incentives. I like to call these bonuses. Something that if the offer is right and they could have that too, it would be a no-brainer for them. I'm going to give you an example in a minute of how a client of mine, a med spa client of mine, used bonuses and made $40,000 in one evening and continued to do it every month. So hang tight. I want to give you number 5 because we're going to put these together. So number 4 is you've got a good offer, but you don't really have right fit, juicy bonuses. Actually, about bonuses, we want them to be right fit. It should be something that that client that would want your offer would also want. In fact, big points if it's something they would pay for and they happen to be getting it for free with your main offer. We call your main offer the main dish, and that extra thing we call the bonus, right? So if there's something that they want and they would have paid for it, but they get it as a bonus when they buy the main dish, that's a winner. So think about what it is that you could add to your offer that would deliver great value to the client, but cost you very little to deliver in time and in money. And that is a win-win. I'm gonna give you an example in a moment, but first, number 5. Number 5 is maybe you do have a great offer and you're even using bonuses, right? It could be a discount, a bonus, something like that, but you're forgetting what we call a limiter. This is heartbreaking as well because you have a great offer, you have a bonus that your ideal client would love to have, but without a limiter, meaning they need to take advantage of the offer right on the call with you, or during that webinar, or while they're at the event, or another limiter is quantity. The first 6, they need to be one of the first 6 people, right? When you have a limiter and a bonus, that is really what creates an offer to be irresistible and to inspire an on-the-spot sale instead of somebody thinking about it. The problem with somebody thinking about it is that we're really busy. We've all got a lot of things to think about it. And the chance of them walking away and remembering the magic, how they felt when they were with you or watching your webinar or at your event or in your consult is slim to none, right? They've got kids, they've got work, they've got all kinds of things going on in their life. So if we don't make that offer while they're in that magic moment with, in our presence and really seeing the possibility, the problem is that possibility disappears and it's hard to pry that wedge over again. So limiters of time, meaning right now or by the end of the month or at this break or at this seminar, right? Like giving them a time limiter or giving them a quantity limiter, right? Where again, you might be able to do a free discovery session with 6 people because that's all the time genuinely that you have in your calendar in the next 2 weeks. And so those people are gonna get this $500 discovery session. It's authentic. So we want it to be an authentic limiter, another key. So you might be making your offer, you might be, using bonuses, you might be naming everything right? You're doing all the things that I mentioned, and yet you're not using a limiter. And we do tend to chicken out on limiters because of our concern that we'll be pushy or salesy. So I will, again, address more deeply, I'll address limiters in another video. So just know that you want to use one and it should be authentic. That way you're going to feel good about it and your client is going to feel good about it. Now for an example to tie it all together. There's nothing like actually seeing this all in action. So some years ago, I had a client. They were one of the first med spas in the Los Angeles area to do laser treatments at all on the face. This is a while back, big innovators, okay? And they had innovated something that they called the non-surgical facelift. So they had a lot of interest, they were getting a lot of press, and they were getting a lot of, mostly women, inquiring about their service. But they really weren't closing a number of sales that they could have been compared to the number of inquiries that they were getting. So on their own, they decided to do these once a month cosmetic laser soirees. They would attract like 60 people to their office, $8,000 non-surgical facelift. They would make the beautiful presentation, even give people a brochure, and then they would stay around and they would serve wine and more appetizers. People could talk with the doctor. And out of 60 women, they might have had 2 or 3 that would sign up on the spot, and the rest, mostly they didn't hear from. They find out about me, I come in and I find out that they're doing these 60 women cosmetic laser soirees and they're having 2 to 3 $8,000 sales. And so, maybe they were grossing $16,000 to $24,000, and 60 women, they were only getting, 5% at the most. So what we decided to do, I came in, and this is where you can really, I want you to apply this to how could this work for your business, is I broke up the 60 women that they were attracting. So in the future, we were only allowing 12 women at a time to come to the soirees. We had an application where they needed to say in advance what it is that they wanted from the laser facelifts. What were the problems with their skin that they want to solve? So we could give that to the doctor and make sure he addressed exactly the problems of the people in the room. How could you be doing this in advance of your sessions, right? Good question to ask. So we wouldn't give them the address and their ticket to attend until they returned the survey. So that was another thing we were doing, was making sure they were really committed. if they weren't interacting with us, we really didn't want, people in the room that weren't serious about this. Here's the important part about the irresistible offer. After the doctor did the education, which was custom to them because we had their survey, they'd shown us they were interested by returning the survey, so we knew we had, a very committed group. He would make a special offer that night, so that's the limiter, if you put your deposit tonight, they would get the $8,000 cosmetic laser facelift, plus they could choose from underarm hair removal with a laser, 5 sessions, or bikini hair removal with a laser, 5 sessions. Now, here's what's magical about that. That was about a $2,000 value bonus that they were gonna get with the $8,000 laser facelift, and they only got it if they registered that night. And what we're looking for here is something that someone would probably want anyway. These were some of the most top services that people wanted from this laser spa, so we know they're desirable to the ideal client. And they happen to happen on the same interval as the laser facelift. So when someone came in 5 weeks in a row, 3 weeks apart, they're already on the table for the non-surgical facelift. It's very easy to take the laser and do their underarm or bikini area. It costs almost no extra time from the laser or for the doctor to add that on. And this is what I mean by what can you add as a bonus that is a big value to the client, but costs you very little time, money, inconvenience to deliver. Well, they ended up, out of the 12 people, on average, having 5 or 6 women do the $8,000 package. So they were averaging $40,000 each session. If you took 60 women that they had before and they were making 3 sales, now they were making 5 or 6 sales out of 12 women. I mean, that's 25 or 30 sales times $8,000. You get the math. So it's an exponential shift that comes from making an irresistible offer. And this is the kind of thing that we want to see with you. The bottom line here is that all of these things have structure behind them. They all fall in the realm of making an irresistible offer. And if you'd like my help with doing that, some regular ongoing coaching that I highly recommend, check out the Monetize Your Mission mentorship that I mentioned earlier in this video. There's a QR code or a URL here for you to use. And if you're catching this video at the right time, there's also a very special offer to try it out practically free.